Hello, North Alabama. It's the last weekend of April already. Can you believe it? It's also time for the Fox 54 Weekend Review. There's a lot to share with you from this week. Here's just a sampling. The clock's officially ticking toward the inaugural South Star Music Festival in Huntsville. This week, the lineup of acts was announced with names including Blink-182 and Gwen Stefani headlining the bill. Well, have you noticed signs on roadsides and intersections like these on your way to home or work? If you ever thought them to be a nuisance and asked what, if anything, can be done about them, stick around for potential answers. And legal trouble of a different sort. What happens when the group providing legal help for Alabamians who can't afford a lawyer runs tight on funds? More on that problem still ahead. All right, let's update you with the latest in the Steve Perkins shooting. Catrella Perkins, the widow of Steve Perkins, shared on Facebook Friday morning her attorney has sent a letter to U.S. Attorney Prim Escalona. It's in response to the events that happened last Friday. This caps off a week filled with more emotion and anger with Decatur police after demonstrators walked into the city's third Friday Street Festival and were met with threats of arrest.
The community gathered this evening for a town hall to debrief the detainment of Steve Perkins' widow and the arrest of 3 protesters on Friday. Before we get to that, let's break down what we know about last night. Now, we obtained this video from Night Shift, the grassroots organization formed to demand justice for Perkins' family in the wake of the shooting. It shows group members walking into the street festival area and shouting Steve Perkins' name and other slogans. Later in that video, as you see here, Catrella Perkins was briefly detained. Shortly after, she is released from those handcuffs and escorted by Todd Pinion to a storefront. Now, the two had a conversation, which we cannot hear in that video, but it's important to note from this video, we do not know why Catrella was detained. Decatur police said there were no injuries and that they will be reviewing footage of the incident. Now, Catrella voicing her frustrations online this weekend after her detainment, sharing in quote, "Wow, DPD killed my husband as if that wasn't enough. Now they are harassing me. Put me in handcuffs in front of my 8-year-old daughter for no reason. No good cops in a racist system," and is still hashtag justice for Steve Perkins, end quote. Now, some of the individuals who say they were a part of the demonstration last night gathered tonight at the Kaya Center in Decatur to debrief what they experienced. Now, before that meeting started, we were able to speak with some of these individuals. Here's how they're feeling. Take a listen.
We saw a mockery of our Decatur Police Department making a mockery of the death of Steve Perkins. That's what we saw.
Most important thing we all have to take from it is that we can't let up, and we won't. We said from the very beginning that if it takes 2 years or 5 years, we're going to make sure that we keep doing the work.
All right, we pivot to Decatur, where we've learned first on Fox54.com, 19 people filed complaints against an officer following a demonstration last week. This is according to Morgan County NAACP President Rodney Gordon. The reported complaints follow what members of groups supporting Catrella Perkins, Steve Perkins' widow, say were met with, quote, harassment and unprofessionalism by Lieutenant Joe Renshaw during the third Friday Street Festival. Fox 54 has requested those complaints from the city of Decatur. The warden of the Limestone County Correctional Facility and his wife both arrested on multiple drug charges today. Chadwick and Melissa Crabtree, you see there. One charge accuses Chadwick of growing hallucinogenic mushrooms. The Alabama Department of Corrections shared that Crabtree has been placed on mandatory leave without pay pending further personnel action. A search warrant was also executed on Crabtree's office at the facility. Further charges may also be pending. We'll update you as we learn more. The city of Huntsville recently announced thousands of dollars in state funds will go to multiple local nonprofit organizations, and these organizations help people facing homelessness. Our Sedona Meadows takes us to First Stop, one of the groups receiving funds, to find out more on how the money will be used.
First Stop may be tucked away on Stoke Street, but it's very visible here in the Huntsville community, especially for those unsheltered.
First Stop is a great first place to go.
A first stop in the right direction.
We encounter the homeless where they are, which means we've got teams that go out into the camp providing critical services. We connect people to support and other resources that they need.
A service that continues to be greatly needed here in the city.
I think we've definitely seen a growth in the city of Huntsville as well as within our homeless community. So the needs for our services continue to increase. The heart of what we do is really empowering individuals out of homelessness. So how can we help a person go from sort of one day they're living in the woods to being able to really be self-sufficient and thriving.
And now, as the city recently allocated $90,000 in federal funding to First Stop, their mission continues to thrive.
Those are funds that come down from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD. So HUD provides the funds and they're administered through the city, but they're really for homeless agencies to be able to really help our homeless community.
This is known as the Emergency Solutions Grant. And First Stop isn't the only organization to receive funds. 8 other local agencies get thousands of dollars as well.
That goes again into the shelters, to street outreach, to prevention, data management.
First Stop is using these funds specifically for their street outreach program.
It's the resources that we bring. So there are times that we have to provide a tent for somebody or a sleeping bag or some of the other critical supplies that they may need. We also partner with Wellstone, and one of their mental health therapists. We're able to fund some of her time that she does counseling with us through this grant as well.
Grant funding that allows them to continue to encounter, connect, and empower. In Huntsville, Sedona Meadows, Fox 54 News.
Pair of those eclipse glasses, well, the U.S. Space and Rocket Center wants to take them off your hands. The Space and Rocket Center will collect new and gently used eclipse glasses for Astronomers Without Borders. It's an organization that provides worldwide astronomy education. Today, the Rocket Center partnered with Madison City Schools to donate 1,000 pairs of eclipse glasses. Those glasses will be collected for school children in South America to experience a total solar eclipse in early October, with the Rocket Center explaining why this is important.
An eclipse is an amazing event to witness and bring community together, and it's an amazing teaching opportunity for our teachers out there. And so we wanted to partner with our community here, Madison City Schools, so that we could help students around the world experience an eclipse when it happens.
All right, and if you would also like to donate your glasses to the Rocket Center, they will collect the glasses through May 27th. You thought April was jam-packed. May is full of activities to keep you busy in Huntsville. The city rolled out its lineup of events for Historic Preservation Month. This year, the city's campaign will focus on downtown Huntsville. The campaign also spotlights custodians who work to preserve and refresh historic places in town. Festivities include walking tours, a porch fest, and even a preservation happy hour. The event planner shares a little bit more. Here's a listen.
So the goal is to highlight history and preservation in Huntsville, to give people the opportunity to celebrate the preservation of the places that matter and celebrate the people that do the work of preservation in our city. I think Huntsville has such energy and excitement about it because we're growing, so I think that it's there. People want to know about the place that they've moved to.
Certainly. Well, for more information on upcoming events, visit fox54.com. Believe it or not, there was a time when most people got useful information from signs they would see on the streets. But with technology readily available, the need for signs have become outdated. And now residents say those signs are now an eyesore. Our Ken McCoy spoke with both the city of Huntsville and Madison to find out if these signs are in compliance.
Many residents enjoy a nice, quiet, and clean neighborhood. But users on Reddit are having concerns about one eyesore, and all signs point to a potential problem. Yes, we're talking yard signs. One user on Reddit shares, many of these signs are out of compliance with the city's sign ordinance, which, if you live in Madison, is true.
We have an ordinance where we don't allow it. So Madison doesn't allow, there's not supposed to be any signs in the city of Madison.
Mayor Paul Finley shares Madison has had the ordinance in place since 2014.
I think it was around 2014. Really, one of our city councilmen, he's now our city administrator, Steve Smith, kind of led that charge. He had listened to his residents. Too many signs. We can find these houses now on Zillow. You know, we don't have to have the directional signage.
Over in Huntsville, Councilman Bill Kling explains while there isn't an ordinance against it, there are certain rules.
One of the most important rules that we have for all of these types of signs, whether they're real estate signs or political candidate signs, is they cannot be on the right-of-way, especially where they're going to be blocking traffic. They need to be normally about 10 feet away from the street. They can be there, but if they're going to be there, that needs to be with the property owner's permission.
Both share that signs, like political signs, are permitted in homeowners' yards.
Political signs in people's yards, absolutely acceptable. On corners where people, where a local candidate can get that put there, absolutely acceptable.
A homeowner can put a sign in their yard for as many candidates as they want to. In fact, I remembered a couple places when last time I ran, I would see campaign signs in the same yard for me, the person running for city council against me, and then also for the two school board candidates that were running at the time. So it's a crazy process, but a person can do whatever they want to. It's their yard.
For Fox 54 News, I'm Ken McCoy.
Now, Fox 54 Top Teacher, sponsored by Calhoun Community College.
We take you to a small town considered a hidden gem in Morgan County. We'll also learn about a teacher who's considered a gem within a gem. One way to describe him is lovable from parents and peers. Meet this week's top teacher, Will Weaver from Eva School.
And look!
Here at Eva School.
And now even a flower.
First grade teacher Will Weaver.
I love my community. I love everything about Eva. Eva's the little town with the big heart.
And Weaver has a big heart for where he calls home.
Seed pods open. So that's the middle.
It's a full circle moment. He attended Eva School to learn, and now he's here to teach. Weaver's taught here for quite a few years.
Finishing my 8th. 7 of those have been in first.
One of those 8 years, he's taught kindergarten, regardless of the grade.
I love to give back to my community. I'm involved in the community, and just being able to teach and see everyone grow here makes me excited.
His principal, Jared Miner, a witness to Weaver's influence.
Mr. Weaver is just a very caring and loving. First and foremost, the kids love him, and it's hard to teach a kid that doesn't love you or don't love them, but he loves his students and will do anything for them.
Weaver says the key to life is
smiling and laughing, just to get up and see life in general. I'm one of those that never. It takes a lot to make me angry. So I love to be happy. I smile all the time.
And for his first graders, the key is
energy, lots of energy. I try to keep them happy all the time.
Congratulations, Mr. Weaver. Here's another fun fact about him. He was a bus driver for 3 years before teaching. Check out the moment he was surprised as top teacher and nominate one at fox54.com. All right, well, North Alabama schools shine through in the latest U.S. News rankings for best high schools. New Century Tech High School came in at number 2 for top-ranked Alabama schools. James Clemens at 6th and Bob Jones at 12th. Arab, Hartselle, and Huntsville high schools were all within the state's top 15. Congratulations. The rankings are based on college readiness, state assessment, performance, and graduation rates, among other things. For more on this, check out fox54.com. Tonight was the night to dress up and step out for Alabama A&M University. The campus welcomes more than 1,000 people to its 24th annual Black Tie Scholarship Gala. Spirits were high and outfits were incredible as the community gathered for the fundraising event. The event is to raise funds for both need-based and merit-based scholarships for students. Alabama A&M President Dr. Daniel Wims says enrollment is growing and so is the need for scholarship funds.
About 90% of our students qualify for some form of need-based aid. 72% qualify for partial Pell, and 52% qualify for full on any given year. So we need to provide some semblance of support for them to be able to bridge the gap between what they can pay and what they owe, so that they can cash out and remain in school. They can persist through to their degree.
Absolutely. Well, the university hopes to raise somewhere around $750,000 at the gala tonight.
Earth Day is right around the corner. It's a day that reminds us to protect our environment and be mindful of our own carbon footprint. And today at Hayes Nature Preserve, the Huntsville community gathered to learn more about the many resources here in the area that work to create a cleaner environment. Attendees also got to enjoy the sunshine while fishing, eating food, interacting with animals, and even getting to take home their very own plants. Huntsville's Green Team says there are things we can do every day to be greener.
It's just important that we all do our part. So whether that's picking up litter, whether that's making decisions on, trying to buy in bulk and not do everything in single use. Sometimes it is spending that little bit more money or investigating a little bit more before you make a purchase, before you realize you could do something just a little bit greener.
Now, Huntsville's Green Team has several litter cleanup events happening in May and June, and they're also encouraging you to adopt a spot, whether that may be a mile, a park, or stream, where you help clean up litter in your area of choice. And sticking with environmental celebrations ahead of Earth Day, Athens State University welcomed the public to campus for their annual Earth Day Expo. Our Jasmine Bird introduces us to all of the fun.
We are celebrating the environment and nature and how to coexist.
Keep Athens Limestone Beautiful Executive Director Claire Tribble says this is a day you just might see a little bit of anything and everything.
We have Legacy, it's environmental education. We have Forging Ahead, they are native landscape experts. We have reptiles, we have the petting zoo with the kangaroo. We have Steve Trash, we have raptors.
And for some, like McKinney's siblings Zion, Nathan, Gianna, and Alyssa, the petting zoo was their favorite attraction.
Oh, there's kangaroos, llamas, all sorts of exotic things. My favorite is the kangaroos and the bunny.
My most favorite is rabbits, like touching the rabbit. Feels like soft coats.
We have my favorite animal here, a bunny, and I got to pet it.
It's really fun.
And the petting zoo isn't the only attraction the 8th grader is expecting to check off her list.
I want to do pottery, and they have a show going on. That's what I want to go watch.
And Tribble says for those who don't know what Earth Day is, this expo is a great way to learn.
It's just a good opportunity for everyone to learn a little bit more about the natural world, how to coexist. We have native plants, we have native plant experts, local wildlife experts, that sort of thing. And we just hope to inspire people to come back to nature a little bit.
In Athens, Jasmine Bird, Fox 54 News.
With an increase in tourism, Huntsville travel agencies are seeing the benefit.
So according to the Alabama Tourism Department, more than 23,000 jobs in Madison County are either directly or indirectly linked to travel.
And Huntsville International Airport is seeing a majority of that.
March this year was really historically important for us. It marks the largest number of passengers that we've seen in Huntsville International Airport.
In March, over 130,000 passengers flew through the airport, 16% above last year's numbers. But what does this increase really tell us?
So the evidence that we're seeing for this large number of passenger traffic in March is that we're seeing more people choosing to fly from Huntsville. We're also seeing the airlines are offering more seats and more routes.
Mary Swanstrom, Public Relations Manager with the airport, shares why it's important to choose to fly out of your home airport.
It's so important that our local community shops Huntsville first. We have very competitive airfares that we are seeing, and part of that is the result of Breeze putting pressure on the mainline carriers, Delta, American, and United. And so walk-up fares are actually pretty much competitive with Birmingham. In some cases, we're lower on fares than Birmingham, and believe it or not, some cases than Nashville. But we need our community to choose to fly Huntsville because that lets the airlines know that they need to provide more service.
And that increase in traffic also allows for the airport to expand in other ways.
So this is going to be a very busy year for construction in our airport. Thanks to those funds from the FAA through the Airport Terminal Improvement Program, we have some renovations going on, including our restrooms on the concourse that are right about midway through the concourse where the restaurant is. We're going to see that renovation. And then also we're going to see some changes around our wayfinding, and then there will be some changes as our concourse construction project where the elevators and escalators will be winding up towards the end of the year. There's going to be a lot going on this year.
For Fox 54 News, I'm Ken McCoy.
Alabama Legal Services helps low-income residents get the help they need. Evictions to even domestic violence are where they step in. But in order to take on the thousands of cases, adequate funding is needed. Our Ken McCoy spoke with an executive director on how the group is educating the nation's capital on their need.
The pandemic was the tipping point for the large number of evictions.
Since the pandemic, eviction cases are on the rise.
In Huntsville alone, we had 520 housing primarily eviction cases last year.
So are the cases of domestic violence in Alabama.
There is a spike in domestic violence as well in Alabama. And it's very prevalent in rural areas, which make it more difficult to address.
With 120,000 calls last year, Legal Services of Alabama is educating Washington on the need for adequate funding.
We had an opportunity to talk about the specific work we do and the demographics of the area that are covered by the congressional district. For example, in the 5th congressional district, the number of cases that we handled and the inquiries and need that are in that area. The Huntsville office covers 11 counties. It's a large population. It's the whole northern tier of Alabama.
Legal Services help low-income residents who might otherwise not be able to afford legal services.
Huntsville's poverty rate is 14.6. It's higher than the national average of 12.6. And the largest demographic are the females in poverty aged 18 to 24. Interestingly enough, the most common racial or ethnic group below the poverty line in Huntsville are white women. We, of course, serve all populations, and as I said, make an effort to get all of the 11 counties out of the Huntsville regional office to meet the service, but it's challenging in the distance, and it's challenging in the resources to enable us to cover the legal needs in all of those counties.
When it comes to cases like domestic violence, Executive Director Guy Lesko explains how tackling these cases can sometimes be difficult.
It is and more difficult to address in rural areas because more often than not, there's a shame factor. Therefore, it's a hard number to count. But we have been consistently applying to the Department of Justice, federal, for its domestic violence grants to help us enable to meet the rural need in Alabama.
For Fox 54 News, I'm Ken McCoy.
Well, a fresh start has so much meaning, and for one program in Decatur, it means a new life after incarceration. Our Jasmine Bird tells us about a new program now available in the River City, looking to lend a helping hand. Here's a look.
The Fatherhood Workforce Development Program, which is funded by the Children's Trust Fund of Alabama, is a grant that actually helps fathers, children, or men who have children under the age of 18.
The program's Decatur Youth Services Coordinator is Nicholas Perkins, and for Perkins, this program is all about offering individuals a fresh start, no matter their history.
It gives them a chance to have a second chance at life, to actually be able to take care of the kids and actually get themselves back straight. You know, a lot of times when you've been incarcerated, you lose a lot.
Decatur adopted this program last year in October.
So it's new for us and new for this area, and so that's good for new opportunities for young men to come in and get a fresh start.
Perkins says the program also provides necessary life skills.
A lot in heavy machinery, so that you as a father can get back up on your feet. It's a program to where we don't just throw men away. We are in conjunction with Calhoun. We're trying to work on programs such as welding and cyber tech jobs.
And the good news is the program is not only for men.
The clients that we do have been women, to be honest with you. Yeah, so our goal is actually this summer is to promote the program a little bit more so that we can get more men into it.
Here's more good news. Open enrollment also never ends. Indicator, Jasmine Bird, Fox 54 News.
The South Star Music Festival released its lineup, and some big names are making their way to John Hunt Park, but that's not all music fans can expect. Our Ken McCoy spoke with music officer Matt Mandrila to get the latest.
I feel like the team that put the lineup together absolutely knocked it out of the park and really delivered something that kind of everyone in Huntsville can be proud of.
After announcing the long-awaited festival's name last week, the South Star Music Festival announced its lineup.
You know, like the response so far has been like overwhelmingly positive, and so you know, it was a lot of work putting the lineup together, and it took a lot of time and effort and planning, and so that's the fun part to get out. And now we're just really excited to get tickets on sale and have a really, really awesome party out at John Hunt Park this September.
The lineup includes acts like Gwen Stefani, Blink-182, and Beck.
It's something that we really think can deliver for all ages. You know, there's like, I'm a Blink-182 fan, but I have like friends who are like really into that band because they have like middle and high school kids are having a resurgence. Mix of genres for everybody. We really had an intention to make this a reflection of our community and really try have something in place at the event that for like something for everybody kind of approach.
And there's even something with the sports fan in mind.
There is a massive sports bar activation planned in place. You know, it's SEC football, but you know, a lot of people like music and football, and so it was important to establish something that would, if you want to watch the games and go to the festival, there is going to be an experience on site for that. Giant screens and a lot of shaded areas.
The event is expected to draw over 30,000 people both days and give Huntsville the festival they've been wanting for years.
Yeah, we're diving in. We're going to have a comprehensive traffic plan, parking situation, a shuttling system, and we'll be aggressively communicating that to the public as we get closer to the event. So, I think 30 to 35,000 people in John Hunt Park each day. Like, and just looking at that lineup, I mean, that just seems like a really, really, I can imagine worse things to do in the park for that day. I think we did as good of a job as we could have done for that in year one, given the time constraints. And, I have nothing but amazing things to say. Like, I'm so happy and excited for our community right now. And there's been a lot of people voicing that they want like a big spring jam back or a big festival back. And to be able to deliver that for the community, I think is really special.
For Fox 54 News, I'm Ken McCoy.
Decades, the Huntsville Ice Sports Center has been serving the community by providing a place where ice sports of all kinds has a place to meet. But the growth of the city and the growth of the sport is calling for the facility to expand. Our Ken McCoy stopped by the Ice Center to talk with the facility director on what to expect.
This facility opened in '92 and has reached its capacity.
Off of Lieben Ferry Road, families have been coming together to fellowship on ice.
We are now on generation after generation of families that come back to this facility. Obviously, we started in 1959, and I have been here since I was very, very young. And it provides a life skill, a quality of life that parents look to for generations, and we want that to continue.
The Huntsville Ice Sports Center is experiencing some growing pains, and now the city has approved plans to expand the Ice Center with additional arenas, including a dedicated curling surface.
We need to expand, and the partnership with the city is currently happening, and we hope to see somewhere at the end of 26 or 27 additional arena and a dedicated curling surface on this property. The curling facility is definitely a focus on the curling program. As we move forward with developing that business plan, it isn't to say that there might be a few ancillary things that may be included, other ice activities, but the primary focus and the primary reason is for curling.
And the center reaching capacity was the idea, according to facility director Dita, who shares it was a part of the plan.
I mean, that was the plan, to serve the community with excellence in all ice sports, which include hockey, figure skating, curling, broomball, and the all-important public sessions. So we've as the city has continued to grow, the need for those services here have continued to grow, and we've outgrown the current space.
And the city's investment says a lot about the appreciation for the center.
I think they believe in us. I think they have for a long time. I mean, they know that this facility serves the patrons with excellence. We are proud of our facility. It is known nationally for many years of having great ice sports here, and we would like to see that the expansion helps serve this community for the next 30 years.
For Fox 54 News, I'm Ken.
Talladega is the biggest NASCAR race in the state of Alabama, and while many make annual trips to cheer on their favorite drivers, few can say they've made it to pit row. Our very own Simon Williams introduces us to an Athens native who gets to be as close as possible to all the action.
Talladega, it's NASCAR's biggest and baddest track. For Josh Appleby, it's a loud, violent welcome home.
Talladega's a wild race, high speeds, huge wrecks, even us down in the pits, right? We're watching on the edge of our seat.
The Athens native is a jackman for Trackhouse Racing. He mainly works on Daniel Suarez's number 99 Chevy, which races in the NASCAR Cup Series. But this weekend, he and his fellow pitmates also helped out Jeb Burton's number 27 Chevy for the Xfinity Series Ag Pro 300 race.
It really separates it from a lot of your tracks. I love coming here. I love coming back to the state of Alabama. Honestly, I miss living here. All that, for me, makes it special, right?
Applebee's been working Dega weekends twice a year since he entered the business 8 years ago. But how he got here in the first place is almost by accident. He moved to Charlotte to work an IT job out of college.
I really wasn't enjoying that, to be honest with you, so I was just kind of looking around for other things. The gym I was working out at, there were a couple guys that had gotten into racing, so I made some phone calls to the people that they recommended to me and showed up for practice, said, yeah, this is something I want to do, turned in my 2 weeks notice, and that was pretty much it.
He wasn't a racing junkie or even totally a car guy before his first NASCAR gig. Up to that point, football was the sport that got him the furthest. After 4 years at East Limestone High, he kicked at Louisville.
Learning that is very monotonous and technical, and that actually transferred over really well to this, right? Because you have a very specific job and you have to repeat it, but you work in a 9-second interval. It's similar to that kicking and punting aspect. You're on the sideline for a long time, and then you kind of got to fire and you go and you do your job and you're back and you're sitting again.
They might not look alike, but Appleby sees plenty of similarities between the sport he played and the one he's in now for a living. There's a uniform, there's equipment, there's positions, and you work as a team.
Yeah. That's it, boys.
A lot of that just comes through time and and working in the industry and understanding what you need to do and trusting those around you to do their job. And I think that's what ends up putting a team like that at peace, right? Because I know what I need to do and they know what they need to do in order for us to be successful and for us to hit the car, to work on the car, do everything we need to get done.
Come 3 p.m. on Saturday, engines revved and the Ag Pro 300 was off. But things didn't start great for the number 27 car. Appleby was busy as Burton hit the pits 3 times in the first 100 laps.
How we feeling, final stage? Things aren't going well, but everything finished well.
The 27 Chevy would average a top 15 pace, eventually finishing in 9th.
Everybody has their own job, right? So we have an engine tuner, and we have guys underneath mechanics in the pit crew, and honestly, they couldn't figure out what it was. So we just rode with it and hoped nothing broke.
Sunday was the big one, the Geico 500 on the NASCAR Cup Series. But it was another disappointing result for the crew. Driver Daniel Suarez finished in 27th, so that win at the home state course eluded Appleby once more. Making it out in one piece is a win in and of itself. Still, he trusts his team's process. Will be ready for the rest of the Cup Series season.
It's not always the most talented person, the most gifted person that ends up making it. It's the individual that puts in the most work and has the most passion behind what they're doing. And honestly, I think I lacked that a little bit in my football game. But I've been able to use my failures and things that I did through football and what I learned and translate it to making me probably much better at this than I was at football.
From the painted lines of the gridiron to the ones that round out the asphalt of a racetrack, Appleby's driven by the love of the game. At Talladega Superspeedway, Simon Williams, Fox 54 Sports.
Let's move over to college basketball now. Coach Dawn Thornton has been working to build a solid roster for the women's hoop squad. She hosted a number of recruits recently, and now the early commits are starting to pile in. Among the early commits is Arkansas State transfer Lauren Pendleton. The Little Rock native was the 2022 Sun Belt Conference Freshman of the Year. Last season, she averaged 12 points per contest and shot 30% from three-point range. Last year, her season high was 19 against the UNA Lions. Joining Pendleton on the hill will be her teammate from Arkansas State, and that's Malin Wilkerson. The soon-to-be senior from Houston, Texas, is an outside threat from three-point range. During her freshman year, she led Arkansas State with 46 made three-pointers on 154 attempts. She's a 3-year letterman and averaged 5 points per contest in a reserve role. Now, as of Thursday, here are the official early recruits according to Coach Dawn Thornton's social media. Along with Lauren Pendleton and Malin Wilkerson, the Lady Bulldogs also picking up a local talent and Calhoun Community College standout Kennedy Hawkins. Stay tuned because more recruits are coming up soon. Not remaining with the Lady Bulldogs will be Kayla Turner. The starting point guard from last year recently committed to Temple. Kayla was one of the most outstanding first-year players in the Southwestern Athletic Conference and was honored with the SWAC Women's Basketball Freshman of the Year award. Last season, she averaged 11.5 points, 3.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and 1.5 steals in 30-plus games. Hey, congratulations goes out to Whitesburg Christian's Will Neville, the senior, signing his national letter of intent this morning to swim at Florida Southern College. The Warriors team captain is coming off a super successful season. He snagged the state championships in the 50 and 100-yard freestyle for the 1 to 5A classifications. His times in both events set new state records. For many, a college decision is understandably a difficult process, but for Neville, not so much.
I don't really think there was a hard thing to decide.
It was easy?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty easy, to be honest. It felt like it was a great fit for me. I felt like I really got along with the team well, and I think I'll do good things there. It feels great, man. Finally got a weight lift off my shoulders. Super exciting, you know? And definitely my dad and my mom really pushing me and showing me that there's a way to get here, and my teammates and my coaches.
And that does it for Sports at 9. Let's send it back to Kanisha.
An exciting win for North Alabama, an exciting win. Joe Carlucci of the Madison-based Valentina's Pizzeria was named the best of the best pizza maker in the world. The best of the best is an invite-only competition of competitors that have won Pizza Maker of the Year in the past. Here's what Carlucci had to say following his big win.
I will tell you this right now, right here. I am not the best. I was the best today, the minute, the hour, the second. But I know in my head, I'm working it every day to be better. But I know there's a million of you guys right in this place right now that are better. Thank you to everybody.
Wow, major congratulations to him once again. Valentina's Pizzeria is located at 25783 Huntsville, Browns Ferry Road. And a hearty congratulations to Valentina's Pizza. That's it for this edition of the Weekend Review. Catch a list of the top 5 stories from Fox54.com Saturdays and watch encores of this program all weekend long on Fox 54 Plus. As always, keep our mobile app handy for breaking news. I'm Kanisha Dees. We'll see you again next weekend.